Hey guys, I thought I would jump on. I've not been on for a while, and I just thought I would jump on and say hi, see who is inside tonight. And what I want to talk about, just quickly, I want to talk about something that really, really helps me when I am feeling a bit meh. Do you ever have that day? It doesn't matter how inspired you are, and you just feel a bit meh. Yeah? Who have we got? Sally, hello. William, hello. Joanne, hello. So yeah, I'll just wait for a few to kind of to jump on, but I want to give you the tools to kind of help you along this kind of mindset, law of attraction journey, because I always say that you will get knocked off track. You know that it is actually part of my system. So my mindset system, part of that is persistence, because you do get knocked off track. But I just wanted to talk. Hi, Sally. Sally, how are you? Stuart, how are you? I'm Mandy. Hello, good evening. So yeah, one of the things that really kind of help me when I'm feeling a bit rubbish and a bit down, or I'm just having a bad day, is I remind myself about this thing called the law of polarity. Because I used to think when I started off on my journey of mindset and realizing how much it really affects everything about you and your experience. Hi, Nina, here in your life. When I started to realize that, I thought that, oh, I could think myself being happy every single day and this perfect life. And, wow, if I can think perfectly every single day, I'll have this perfect life. I'll have everything that I want. I'll never feel meh, as I said before. But what I realized over time, and even speaking to all the mentors that I have, and John Assaraf and all that kind of stuff, is that there is this law of polarity, which is that the way I see it is, so for example, it's like night and day, up and down, large and small. For example, this phone, top, bottom, east, west, that kind of thing. It's all different parts of the same thing. It's like different parts of the same thing. So it's like the North Pole, the South Pole, but it's just parts of the same thing, parts of the earth. And how this helps me is the way I kind of think of it, the analogy that I think in my head. And this to do with business growth as well, anything to do with that, relationships, all that kind of stuff, just as it's everywhere in life. Or a drinking hangover, there you go, relate to that one. Anybody? Yes, gives a thumbs up if you relate to that one. The high of, yeah, I'm out, I'm socializing, partying, you're having a few drinks, and the next day you're like, bleh. Again, different parts to the same thing of that experience of, it's like the opposite end of this, party experience, whatever it is. And this helps me because I remember that it's just a cycle. It's just part of the cycle. It's not me. So when you're feeling meh, it's not you. It is just a natural part. It's like the tide, the ebb and flow of the tide. The tide just doesn't go ooh and come in and ooh come out. It's like it goes, for the tide to come in, it ebbs back a little, and then it pushes forward that little bit more, and then it ebbs back a little, and then it pushes that little bit more, and it keeps doing this till eventually the tide comes right in, and then the tide has to come out again, and then the tide has to come in again, and this is kind of how it goes. And that's the way I think about it, is when I'm thinking of my growth, and I'm thinking about business growth and development and anything like that, I always think about the times that are ebbing back and things maybe start to dip a little, or the energy dips a little, all that kind of stuff. Is it's just complete acceptance that that is just part of the natural cycle. That is just part of how it is. It's like in your week, you will have times that you are full of energy, and you will have times that you feel a bit more lack of energy. It's like, night and day. It's just different moods. You'll be like this really, really high mood, and then often you'll find it's like, oh, you'll have this, if you've had a few things that are really like high, and there's loads of stuff going on, and it's full of energy, and you're it's like you're riding a crest of a wave, and then all of a sudden, something will happen that you're kind of like, back. No, it's not back to square one, but it's like, yep, back to reality, feet on the ground. Something will pop up. The universe will give you this test, this little pop up of, you don't stay on that crest of the wave the whole time. It has to come down, and then you go back up on the other crest of a wave, and so on. And it is just that kind of, it's natural. So when the reason it kind of helps me is I know that it's just, it's like swimming against the tide. I just stop swimming against the tide. If I am trying to work one day, for example, and everything that I'm doing is just not working, and I am not in flow, and everything feels a bit stressful, and it feels a bit, it's just not working. Every time you try to do something, you lose a file, or you do something else, and it's like, unless I'm on like a complete deadline, and even if I'm on a complete deadline, I will switch off, and I will leave, and I will just walk away. I'll do something. I will go and sit and chill. I'll do my breathing. I might take a drive out to the cemetery, my kind of place to go, to my dad's grave or something like that, or just go and just take that bit of time out, because I know that if I just keep going and going and going and trying to force this result when it isn't happening, it is like swimming against the tide. So in situations like that, you just have to let go. Or when you have your days that you feel like, a bit of a meh day, and things crop up, little challenges that you've got to deal with that the universe throws at you, you just have to get into the mindset of, that's all it is. It's just a little challenge. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. This is just a natural happening. It's not me. It's not because it's me. It's just a natural happening, and I will deal with it in the most positive way that I can. Forget about, hi Lorraine, forget about the fantasy of that you will, hi Eileen and Marge, forget about this ideal, perfect, every single day life that will never throw a challenge at you. It's just not going to happen. So get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Get comfortable with the ebbing back. It's a time to rest. It's a time to say, okay, let go. Rather than, as they say, rather than trying to swim against the tide, just let go. It's like, what is it they say? It's like if you swim to the side instead, and the resistance is gone. It's just kind of go with it. So I use tools to kind of, if I am feeling a bit, lack of energy, or just, certain days that I need a bit of a pickup, I use my tools, the tools that some of you will have done at the school. If you've been to the school, we create a thing called a Super Self Bible, and it's like a code of conduct, it's like a code of conduct or practice that you start to identify the things that trigger you to go down, or the things that trigger you to go up. So for example, is it, going out for a walk, audiobook, listening to certain music, watching a particular motivational video, like, consuming that? Is it going to like a mastermind event? Is it jumping on here and being with like-minded people? Is it going off and watching some law of attraction stuff? Is, whatever it is, you have to start to be disciplined to keep practicing these things, because if you don't, what happens is when you go into the kind of ebb, if you like, the slightly sort of, when it's like, yeah, Christopher, when you're in these down times, if you're not careful and you start to really feel and emotionalize these down times as just really bad places to be, and, complete resistance to it, what happens is it'll just get worse. It'll just get worse. So you need to do as much as you can to just let go of feeling rubbish about this little ebb that you're feeling, and just accepting it and letting it pass. It's like, just don't give it your focus and energy, just let it pass and accept it. I'm just having a bad day, just having a bad week, maybe just having a bad, just do whatever you can to lift how you feel, to lift your energy, even if it's just little things, even if it's just little triggers that just help relieve that feeling of feeling a bit down, or questioning, reminding yourself, what questions are you asking yourself? Are you asking yourself the empowering questions? Remember, we talked about the boot camp, those of you that were there. Are you talking to yourself in an empowering way, super statements to yourself? Or are you asking yourself, why me? Why this again? Why, all the negative stuff? Remember, we talked about that at the boot camp. So, you've got to work at it. Most people don't. And what happens is the more that you work at it, you start to retrain your brain to, when a challenge pops up or a bad day pops up, you retrain your brain to literally very quickly just tweak it. Just it's like changing a channel. You just tweak it. It's like, oh, that's what it is. It's fine. It'll be fine. Right, okay, let's work on this instead. Okay, that's fine. Solution focus. Yep, I can deal with this. It's not a problem. That kind of thing. Rather than depleting any little bit of energy left, trying to force a result or feeling so bad that you didn't get the result that you wanted. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up or a love or a like if any of this is making any sense and is helpful whatsoever. I like to jump on and share just little sort of thoughts and experiences, but I like to know as well if it's helpful. If you're kind of liking the content, give us a little thumbs up. Who's all here? Fern, hi Fern, Haley, Kirsty. Hey, good to see you all. So remember, yeah, Nina. Yeah, that's good. Give us a thumbs up. I like to see that these little things are helpful. It just keeps you in the right mindset, especially if you're having a bit of a poo day. You're just feeling like meh. And we can start to feel a little bit sorry for ourselves. And then when we're thinking in a crap way, then our physiology starts to slow down, and all the cells and everything in our body starts to deplete, and it's going down in that spiral. You've got to keep yourself energized. And remember, do you remember the superhero? Do you remember the superhero stance that we did? Fists on your hips, standing up straight for 2 minutes, head up, chest up, like the superhero when you're feeling pants, when you're just feeling rubbish some days. So I tell my guys at work, that's what they should be doing. So if they're having a bad day and things aren't going right, through to the back room, Fern, through to the back room, hands on the hips, up like a superhero. You can't really be like, fuming about something or what a client said or that kind of thing when you are in superhero stance. So things like that help lift your energy as well, rather than just going through the cycle of talking a load of crap to yourself in your head and how rubbish you are and how rubbish situations are and how crap you feel. Feed it with good stuff, guys. Feed it with the good stuff, all right? Okay, so hey Trish, how are you? Oh, that's good. There's quite a few of you on tonight. I like that when you all jump on, and I like to see what you're up to. Feel free to put any little comments on, any little questions, or just share any experiences or tell us what you're up to. Just type in any little comments. Hi Mandy, good to see you in here again as well. Trish, haven't seen you for a while. It's good to see you in here as well. And Kirsty Best, how's that little man of yours? I see you on Facebook. He's getting big now. Yeah, I hope everything's going well with you there. All right, no questions, guys, but feel free to type in any comments, or also type in what would you like me to cover? What are the things that you get stuck with? What are the things that I can jump on and do some content on another time that you get stuck with, whether it's to do with life, business, that kind of stuff as well. Here's another little interesting point before I jump off, actually. This comes into relationships as well. So I want you to think about relationships. So when you meet somebody and you are sparkling love, and these are all the energies, like, my mentor reminded me about the story the other day, when you're like, oh, yeah, you hung up. Oh, you hung up. All that kind of stuff when you're madly in love. And then what happens is, just naturally over time, is you have a natural tendency, remember the ebb and flow, is you have had enough love, you're filled up, you're content, you're all full of it, and you kind of have this natural that you want to kind of pull apart for a while. So you might want to go off with your girls, and they might want to go off with the boys, or the girls and the girls, or the boys and the boys, whatever kind of relationship you're in. But you kind of want to naturally pull away for a while. And then once you've gone away, because obviously we all need love and we need to give love, then we start feeling a bit emptier. So then we naturally want to come back together again. So again, it's this ebb and flow of pulling apart and coming back together. However, if there's one side of the party who maybe isn't ready to pull back and doesn't understand that this person's just sort of full of love and they're just ready to pull back a little, then they go following them. They go following after them, where are you going? Where are you going? And which actually makes the person who's doing the pulling back for a while to sort of fill themselves up with the other things that we need in life, ready to come back in to give again, is it can start a lot of conflict because they feel suffocated. And the other person thinks, oh, they can't love me because they're pulling away a bit and they're not giving me this attention and all that kind of stuff. So it's quite interesting as something to observe in a relationship as well. Is, just think about that in your relationships. Do you, when your partner kind of pulls away a little and they want to spend more time to themselves, do you let that happen? Do you enjoy that? Do you make the most of that time as well, that you actually go off and do some stuff too, and then you come back together again? So it's interesting when you look at it in that way. Again, it's just that natural ebb and flow. You go in, fill yourself up with love, and then you go out and you fill yourself, because we don't just need love, we need other things in life, remember? Our little emojis. So we need the significance. We need to feel, that we're growing and developing, through our knowledge, our business, whatever it is. So, we've got to kind of try and find that balance. Okay, guys, so let me see what I've got here. Stephanie, hi, Stephanie. Eileen, so I have a book that I've started to keep and fill it in every night. I write 3 headings: positive things from the day, givings, and things I'm grateful for. Keeps my head straight on the good stuff from the day and keeps me away from the negatives. Even on a crap day, there's always something to be grateful for. It works for me. Yeah, that's a really good point, Eileen. I think it's one of the things we do as part of my emails and training as well, is to do that, is to have maybe a notepad beside your bed, like a gratitude book, that kind of thing, where at the end of each day, you just remember the good stuff. I used to have a thing beside my bed. It was like a little stone, a little lucky stone. I called it my gratitude stone, and it was beside my bed. So every night and every morning when I seen it, it triggered my thoughts to, I don't have it anymore. I need to get another one. It was when I moved house. I think we lost it. And I've only just remembered it now. When you move house and all your kind of, different habits form, if you like. But I had this stone beside my bed, and every time I would see it, it would trigger off that memory of, oh yeah, it's the gratitude stone, right? What are the things I'm grateful for? So something like that's quite good. Or as you do as well, Eileen, is it's always good to write it down as well, keeping like a gratitude book or a journal. It's good. Other things I've done before as well is when I'm feeling really, struggling with something, is writing it down. I really, really recommend that, highly recommend that. If something, if you're hurting in any way, or just anything that's happened, or you're stressed, it's a great way to try and understand. You just write and write and write. You just write all that feelings down. Where are they coming from? Why are you feeling like this? Da, da, da. Whatever the pain is, where is it? Whatever it is, why are you feeling down? What are you frustrated about? Right, just keep writing until you just get to the stage. It's like you've got it all out, and you get to the stage you're like, oh, I can't write anymore. But you're like, whew, I feel better for that, because a lot of it, we're storing it all up inside, up in here, we're storing it all up inside, and we need to get it out. So writing writing therapy, if you like, is really powerful as well if you are struggling and feeling a bit more down. Self-worth as well, writing down things that you love about yourself, it's also good. Keeping on that self-worth, not focusing on things you don't like, which is mostly what we do. You know, when we look at a photograph, first thing we do, oh God, look at this. Oh God, look at this. Oh God, you know, and you never look at anyone else like that, but you go straight into yourself and you look for all the faults. So again, it's retraining that brain to go in and, you know, gloss over the bits that, you know, not gloss over, sorry, highlight the bits that you like about yourself and kind of blur out the bits that you're not as happy. Don't give them the full focus. Give the stuff that you like the full focus as well. All right. So there's quite a good few exercises to think about, guys, to keep you going, get you filled up, get the inspiration going again. And it was good to speak to you all, and I'll see you soon.